Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my Game Week 10 Fantasy Football Preview. So, this is fascinating. Game Week 10 is pretty much upon us. Then we have Game Week 11. And then, of course, it is another international break. A very, very sad international break. Well, they're all sad, to be honest. But it's the last one. So, it's probably the least sad of them all. And then we get to see a good few months of consistent football. Champions League, Carabao Cup, Premier League, FA Cup, no winter break, international football over till March. So it's not too bad. So let's talk about Game Week 10. There's a lot of content on fantasy football now more than ever. Of course, I think every team and watching the styles of every creator is very interesting, I must say. And it's good to see some variety. It's good to see some difference. It's good to see some uniqueness. But here I am just going to talk about my team. And if that interests you, then that makes me very happy. So what are we on so far? 543. In my opinion, we should be about 30 points extra. I made a few mistakes. There was an evil spirit that possessed my phone, which transferred out Vardy for Antonio. I had to transfer out Antonio for Vardy again. This was a couple of weeks ago. This cost me a lot of points. I was on tilt. So I transferred in Dalot for Borgard. But this Dalot transfer move was a long term. And to be fair, he should have scored against Brentford at home when he had a 1-on-1. And when he played against West Ham, missing an open goal, which actually turned out to sack Erik ten Hag. So let's have a look at my team so far for Game Week 10. Then we're going to discuss some transfer plans. We're going to discuss some potential fruitful assets. And we're going to look ahead towards the next upcoming fixtures. We're pretty much a quarter of the way through the season. So we've got another half until Game Week 19. And then we're really going to see not only a lot about fantasy, but of course, a lot about the teams in the Premier League. To be fair, we still haven't seen some teams click. We're waiting to see Wolves win. We're going to wait to see whether Palace can get back to what they managed to do at the end of last season. We're going to wait and see how Southampton, how Ipswich, how Leicester are going to continue this relegation fight. The top four race. We're going to see what City, Arsenal, and Liverpool can continue to do, of course, in the title fight, which really much, in my opinion, is centered on those three teams. We're going to see whether Chelsea can continue a decent enough start. Are they really the real deal with Cole Palmer? I think they are, but are they relying on him? The likes of Brighton, Forest doing typical things, especially Brighton. They know how to win points. They know how to beat big teams. They also know how to falter against some slightly smaller sides. So they're doing their thing. Are we going to see a resurgence of Manchester United now that Ten Hag is gone? That's the real interesting one. The likes of Brentford, Fulham, Bournemouth, they're doing pretty well. Some very, very good results for both those clubs, for all three clubs, to be fair. Obviously, West Ham yet to get going properly. The Lopetegui era has started pretty slowly. So there's lots of potential in the next half of the first half of the season. So there's so many opportunities to be different in fantasy football, in my opinion. And it represents an exciting opportunity, humbly. So yeah, let me just make sure things are good with this stream. I don't really know. Do we need to one sec? Let me just check this out. What color is most appropriate? Green, blue. Well, I'm gonna have blue, red. I think the original color was fine. Maybe a green like this. Okay. Right. So let's talk about my team. Game Week 10. So what we have is a bit of Robert Sanchez. My apologies. We have Robert Sanchez in goal for Chelsea. Now, I don't think he's a great keeper personally. I just think he's decent enough for fantasy. Chelsea's defense is not too strong. We're looking at the wrong one. Apologies. Hold on one sec. Un momentito, por favor. Wait. I need to get up the Wait. I'm gonna have to get the different one. I've got the wrong one up. Share screen. Let's hope nothing dodgy appears. This one is the one. Okay. Right, that's good. That's good. So we have got a bit of Robert Sanchez in goal. He's had an all right start, to be fair. You know, we're kind of finishing now the start of the season. We're heading through to the midway stages. He's doing well. And he's getting points. Look, you know, we want a keeper that gets some clean sheets, gets some saves points, saves a penalty. And I think that's the Chelsea way, to be honest. He was 4.5, gone up to 4.7. I always think, you know, if you're part of the top 6, you're guaranteed clean sheets at some point in the season, unless you're pretty much Tottenham. But there haven't been many clean sheets. I haven't been too strong in keepers this season, but look, he got some great couple clean sheets there with some saves, a penalty save as well, which was amazing. And these fixtures for Chelsea, if we're looking at game week 10 onwards to, let's say, game week 19, pretty much when everyone has finished anyway. It's a weird way to look at it. You kind of look at it stages, but let's just for you know, logical purposes, game week 10 to 19, you know, we should be matched. You know, I think we should be looking at to the 4th game week 20, because there's the FA Cup weekend, which disrupts a few things. But you can define your own period, to be fair. They're not too bad. Look, it's better from game week 16 onwards. These fixtures are slightly harder. United away, Arsenal home. I doubt there's some clean sheets there. Could be some decent returns, maybe Leicester away, Southampton away. I think I'm going to keep him. I'm not too bothered about keepers. I don't think many people are. And it's very hard to figure out the appropriate transfers for the keepers. So my other keeper is Fabianski. He could start. Forest away. I'm hearing Chris Wood has a knock. I firmly believe he will start, but if he doesn't, that improves the prospects of Fabianski. So my defense for this week is Rico Lewis, Pedro Porro, and Diego Dallo. The idea of bringing in Porro and Dallo, I bought them both in game week 8, probably a mistake. But they both have 2 home fixtures now. So I haven't had any returns from them in their last 2. Palace away, West Ham at home. I didn't watch the Spurs games. I don't really know how Porro did, but I know he had a lot of chances against West Ham. And he's always, you know, close to a return. So I'm really hoping there could be a clean sheet. There could be some goals, could be some assists. I think I think he should respect our patience now and deliver in these home games. You know, Villa are struggling slightly now, slightly out of form. And that's normal with Aston Villa. You know, you've got Emery as a manager. They're doing great. They're very ambitious. But, you know, they're still not the Arsenal, City and Liverpool of the league. But you know, unprecedented levels of success that Villa have attained under Emery. So Porro, that could be a 1-0 Tottenham, potentially. They're going to be boosted by a massive win against City in the Cup. And Diego Dallo, who knows what he can do? I don't care about the clean sheets, but of course we've seen the chances he's had. Absolutely ridiculous how he hasn't scored. He didn't score against you know, West Ham when he really should have done. And it's embarrassing that he didn't. So we've turned to turquoise colour. It's a nice color, nice winter cold color. So Rico Lewis as well. Not too impressed with Rico Lewis in terms of fantasy football points. I think he's a great player. He's popped up in so many positions. For the next 2, before the international break, we see 2 away games: Bournemouth away, Brighton away. And look, I think there's potential. There's always potential for City assets. It doesn't really matter who plays, who doesn't. My thinking is that because Haaland has blanked a lot in the last few weeks, my thinking is that he's just going to turn it over and he's going to get points. It's very rare to see such quality players for great teams blank, and blank, and blank, and blank. That could happen. This is, I do believe this is a critical moment in fantasy. We're seeing a lot of managers talk about transferring out Erling Haaland. And I think that's a perfectly fair and reasonable position. The likes of Salah, Palmer, and Saka, a quarter of the way through the season, have shown that that could be the optimal position. So I am cautious about taking out Haaland. I feel like I've got to calm down on the transfers, and I hope to reassess after the international break, heading into game week 12. So yeah, it is game week 12, isn't it? Is it game week 12 or is it game week 11? Yeah, it's game week 12. So yeah, Bournemouth away, Brighton away for City, injury depleted City. Look, listen, I still don't think it's that bad. They might even lose those games, Man City, but there's no reason why City cannot return still with the likes of Kovacic, Gundogan, Rico Lewis probably in the midfield, and Bernardo Silva, Foden, Haaland in the attacking areas. There's no reason they can't return. Bournemouth and Brighton, I don't think their defenses are that good, to be honest. Bournemouth conceded too many chances against Chelsea away. When I was watching Chelsea at home, I was watching that Bournemouth-Chelsea, and I was like, fuck, Arsenal got a ball here. They didn't because Saliba got sent off. But Bournemouth are not that strong defensively. I'm telling you that now. Foden should find pockets of space. The same with Brighton as well. And they have attacking philosophy. So that's the arguments for hurling Haaland for the next 2 games. But there's some really strong arguments to take him out. The lack of creativity, the styles that Man City might approach, the sheer lack of creativity, the idea that actually it's very simple, just take out Erling Haaland, and City are not that strong. They don't have De Bruyne from the edge of the area. They don't have Rodri from the edge of the area. They don't have the likes of Doku and Grealish who can open up the spaces. Savinho as well. So you take out Haaland. It's a big ask for Gundogan, Kovacic, Rico Lewis to be creative. And so Man City are in a bit of trouble there. And also, look, the fixtures ahead are not that great. Haaland's that's not really the best record against Liverpool. Spurs at home is always a good game. We always see Man City, Tottenham very, very eventful. Lots of a couple of 3-0s, 2-2s, 2-1s, big games. And even there's an argument about Forest and Palace away. Man City are very, very interesting. So I would like to see how they do against Bournemouth and Brighton with Haaland. Then I will probably think about transferring him out. But I've got to save some transfers. I really, really do. For me, I don't like to be patient in this game, but I'm going to have to be. So that's that for Haaland and Rico Lewis. And then let's just talk about Foden. I bought him in, Southampton home. Okay, it's one of those. You know, you expected to demolish them. They didn't. I didn't triple captain Haaland in the end, so that's fine. And Foden, it's fine. He's a good player, attacking player. I'm happy with him. I don't think he's as good as Saka and Palmer fancy football-wise right now, even football-wise. But there's some good potential for returns with Foden in your team. And you can never go wrong with Triple City. Look, just because they aren't the City, you know, that's thrashing everyone, you know, they're still winning games and there's still opportunities for them to improve. So if anyone's been watching football for a long time, you never, ever, ever write Man City off. You can never do that. They could easily go to Bournemouth and Brighton and win 4-0. That's how good they are. So that's that. Then the rest of my team, the rest of the midfield, we have Smith Rowe in my team. For game week 10 against Brentford at home, there's some okay fixture for Smith Rowe. I don't really like him in my team, but for the short term, he's all right. I can't really argue with Brentford home, Palace away, Wolverhampton. If I'm going to think critically, then I feel like Brentford at home could just be a 1-1, Jimenez and Vista, then Smith Rowe does nothing. You know, he's just one of those who's going to get an assist, a goal here or there. That's why he was 5.5 million for Fulham. Then Wolves at home could be okay. But Fulham do have a good home record. I know they lost to Villa, but they do have a good look at beating Newcastle, scoring goals. They have been exciting. So we'll see what Smith Rowe can do. If I don't have him, he'll probably score. So look, he's there or thereabouts. And I think he's good on the bonus points as well. Quite highly owned. So I've still got him. So let's hope he can do something. Mohamed Salah is my captain right now for game week 10. Liverpool. Let's just look at the next 2. It is Villa and Brighton at home. Decent enough. Then Southampton away. Decent enough. Then these are a bit tricky. Everton away is never really tasty for Liverpool, especially at 12:30. That is going to be a grim fucking game. Hopefully for us, we can turn it on at Goodison Park. But look, Mohamed Salah home in these 2 games. I fully expect some goals, though, from the likes of Núñez. Maybe Diaz will get back into form. I do believe Trent for these games is absolutely essential. I can just feel, based on the fact that I watched Liverpool, hours and hours of Liverpool content, of Liverpool football matches. I can tell you for now, guarantee 95.8% certainty that Trent is going to haul in at least one of those games. So there's a thought at the back of my mind, if I take Haaland out, for Mateus Cunha, I could get Saka and Trent somehow for a -8 for the next 2. That's something I'm thinking about. It's very aggressive, but it's also probably quite stupid. So that's that. But Burmo, he's a really, really critical asset. Away games, not as strong. Home games, he is very strong. So look, he can do things. He's a great player. Brentford are a great team. They create chances. He just consistently delivers. He's back in my team. I've had him for Southampton at home. I had him out for these games, but he was back in my team last week at home. And this is a good run. Penalty taker, successful from the penalty spot. Fulham Brentford is going to be an entertaining game. Hopefully lots of goals. And so that completes my midfield for game week 10. And then my attack is Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who is an utterly despicable player with a despicable Everton team, not just because I despise them, but they can't play football for a living. I don't know how they're footballers. Dominic Calvert-Lewin is a finished player, in my opinion. He was absolutely diabolical against Fulham, and he takes more time changing his hair. Now I believe he's got a curly hair, kind of mullet style, which is just embarrassing for a Premier League footballer. And he does his modelling, which is just a waste of time. So if I was Sean Dyche, I'd be like, this is utter woke nonsense. Get going, start moving, start being a proper striker, like he was at some moments in the Premier League. Highest scoring, 16 goals, 2020-21. That was a good season. He has had a lot of injuries, in all fairness, so we'll see what Calvert-Lewin can do. If he doesn't deliver Southampton away, he's out my team. And that will be that. I will think about my transfers. Jamie Vardy is, again, I don't really like owning him, but Ipswich away, I can't really do anything. I'd much rather Sean Larson or Cunha for Palace at home. I'd much rather Chris Wood for 2 home games. But Vardy is somehow in my team. And to be fair, 2 goals in 2, some chances for Leicester. They've shown their attacking potential. They've shown they could score. They have fully shown they can score. So hopefully Vardy can be on the end of it. They've scored in every game so far, Leicester. So, as much as they're not the Leicester of old, they are a team that has a lot of creativity. Fatawu, Mavididi, Buonanotte. I do believe there's opportunities for Jamie Vardy to really do well. And Leicester, I still think they're going to stay up. I really, really do. I think they've got enough about them to stay up. Let's just hope Vardy can play 90 minutes. These fireworks are too loud. But we do love the fireworks. Let's just turn them. Yeah, so we're back now. Jamie Vardy, very, very okay-ish player. I really want to take him out, but I just need to save transfers this week. And it makes sense. This is the logical move. So if we see what I've lined up with, yes, as I said, this is my team. We've got Rodgers on the bench. I fully expect him to play against Tottenham. And, I can't predict this game. I really can't. Both played in midweek. Both might fancy themselves, so it could be a close game. I think hopefully low scoring and hopefully a Petrocoro clean sheet going on there. Mikolenko on the bench, Woutfaz on the bench, Fabianski. I will just monitor the Fabianski Robert Sanchez decision. Probably expect Sanchez to start for me, but yeah, we'll monitor that. So in terms of potential transfers, then I'm not inclined to do any, but I could fiddle with it. I very much could fiddle with it. And this is something that I am keen. I am keen on a lot of assets. I'm keen on Bruno Fernandes. I'm keen on Bukayo Saka, Cole Palmer, Mateus Cunha as well. So if we imagine from game week 12 onwards, this type of move, I do believe Alexander Isak will get some goals coming. So let's just play. Let's just experiment. We want to get some penalty takers, of course, in the team. Isak, Bam, Foden out. Do you know what? Fuck the Man City assets. They're annoying me. Foden out. And then we can get Bukayo Saka. So we actually have an additional penalty taker in the team in Bukayo Saka. I do believe Saka is fixture-proof. I don't think Newcastle away is as hard as it used to be. Then there's one of these guys that will have to go missing. Is one of these guys. So look, I do believe there could be improvements. It probably will be Vardy, Calvert-Lewin. This could be game week 12 onwards. Saka, Isak. You can see the fixtures from game week 12. Forest, West Ham, United home. Then West Ham, Palace, Liverpool away. Probably won't play for that. I want the midfielders though. I may have to just get rid of Smith Rowe. So that is 5 transfers. That would be a -8 if I stick. Let's just see what we can do. If we stick Cole Palmer in there, that could be fascinating. And then we could do something a little juicy. Maybe a Rasmus Haaland differential. Maybe a Rasmus Haaland differential. But let's just try and get penalty takers. I think we have to go with Mateus Cunha. So if I was wildcarding, I probably would. If I had a wildcard, I'd probably wildcard this week. I'm not going to lie. Look at all these penalty takers. Mateus Cunha. And then it's a shame we don't have money then for Chris Wood. But that probably would be something, some good potential there. If not Chris Wood, then there's lots of cheap forwards. Maybe could be Strand Larson. Maybe we could go for Raul Jimenez. But also, we are ignoring Brighton and their strong fixtures from game week 12 onwards. Let's just have a look at that. I don't know when Joao Pedro is back, but if he is back for these fixtures, then we can seriously cook. Yes, and look at these fixtures for Brighton. There's some cooking potential going on with all of these. I'm not someone who just has blind faith in the easy fixtures. We've seen with Brighton many times, no one had them for the start. Everton away is notoriously difficult, but look at them scoring 3 goals. And United, Arsenal, they're getting results. Chelsea away, Tottenham home, they're scoring goals. So Brighton are a team that will score goals, probably more so against teams with open play styles, and they have lots of creativity. Minter, Hinshelwood, Jorginho, Matoma, and Welbeck again. So let's just stick him in there, but he's not a penalty taker. But I do believe this is a much improved team. I do believe Vardy and Calvert-Lewin are weak forwards as assets. I just have them for this week when they can deliver pretty strongly, pretty successfully. And look at this team. I got to be careful not to do the transfers, but if we look at this, we can see that if you compare it, Smith Rowe versus Palmer, let's just do 1-0 to the away team. This could be the home team. This can be away. We've got 1-0 away team. And then Foden versus Saka, I think that's 2-0 away team. Calvert-Lewin could 3-0 away team. Vardy versus Welbeck, 4-0. Haaland versus Isak, 4-1. So I just believe the overall team is much stronger without Erling Haaland. It's just a bit of a pickle transferring him out. It is a bit of a pickle. So that is a much stronger team. That's a potential game week 12 big transfer. I'm very much not afraid of -4s or -8s. It is a big potential because look at the fixture swings for Chelsea. They're going to be tested against United and Arsenal. They won't have the ball all the time. United away, Arsenal home. I fully expect Palmer to do a lot of things, especially in big games. However, he ghosted versus Liverpool. But the fixture swings are clearly there. Spurs away, I don't think that's a 4. I think that's probably a 3. Leicester away, Villa home, Southampton away. Look at this. Look at this for Chelsea. I'm going to have to get Palmer and Jackson in my team somehow. In fact, but even Newcastle. So I genuinely think I will take Haaland out in game week 12. I just fancy it. If he's heavily owned, there's so much potential to improve your rank and to get one over. Some of the Haaland owners. And listen, there was a small idea that I had after Haaland scored his back-to-back hat-tricks and his brace and his goal. There was a part of me that's like, okay, he's not going to get a hat-trick every week. If he gets a brace every week, you can't just match that with a Salah captain, a Palmer captain. It's not like that bad. I know Haaland owners, including myself, have premiums, but there's more premiums to potentially have, and the reliance on Haaland is astounding. A lot of Haaland owners also continue to captain Haaland. So are we going to play scared? Are we going to be aggressive? There's potential. There is a lot of potential, especially the way I think there's a whole half of the season to go. And I fully expect Isak to have a little scoring run. I fully expect Watkins to also get back on a scoring run. I also expect Jarrod Bowen to start scoring. I also expect Man United assets to really start scoring. It's very unlikely that they continue to generate high XG without the returns. It's very, very unlikely that happens. But it's just, I can't always, it's very difficult to fit in the likes of Bruno. So Rodgers may have to leave. I could go for Garnacho. You know, I do believe there will be a time where Rashford gets about 5 goals in 7 matches. I do believe that time will happen. I just believe it will arrive. So it is all about the anticipation. It's all about the constant monitoring, and I do think there could be a feel-good factor back at Manchester United with that dinosaur, complete and utter dinosaur out. Amorim is unproven. There's the way he's going about things is not amazing, but look, he won the league with Sporting Lisbon. If we look at where Sporting Lisbon are in the Portuguese league, I do believe they're doing well. Let's just check that. Yes, they are indeed. They're top again. So Amorim clearly has a lot in him. It's just, sometimes you've just got to do what you got to do to go to the big clubs. Rejecting West Ham, Villa talks with Liverpool, 1 minute saying this, 1 minute staying, and then United come along. So it's some people, oh, well, he's not going about it the right way. It doesn't really matter, to be honest. So there is potential for Manchester United. I want to try to do this carefully. Let's just reset before we make any stupid changes. But that's the importance of holding a transfer. I've got to hold it. And for this week, it's fine. So if I hold it, I will have 2 free transfers for game week 11. And if I hold it from game week 11, then I will have 3 free transfers. In terms of game week 11, then we have for Calvert-Lewin West Ham away. Not amazing. Then we have Vardy with Man U away. Not great. Haaland being Haaland, Foden being Foden, Salah being Salah, Burma being Burma. Rodgers, that will probably be benched. Smith Rowe, Palace away. So the team is not looking that strong for game week 11. Porro will start. Dallo will start. This is some good potential. So I may even slip in there with the United changes. Lewis will also start, and Mikalenko. So look, those 3 will start. The 4 will probably start. I may have to do the changes in game week 11. So I'm not happy. Yeah, we'll see. I don't expect Vardy to do much against United away. So we'll have to monitor it. But look, this is my team. This is game week 10. But there is a lot of potential to maneuver my team game week 12 onwards. So Manchester United are a team I think you should keep an eye on. I really do. I think getting in there early can't hurt you. Definitely. And even Chelsea at home, they could very much score. They're scoring 5 against Leicester. They've got to work for their points. Tottenham, this is a very interesting one. They're hard to read at the minute. They really are hard to read. Solanke, is he good? Is he not good? How's he not delivering so far? I think the big team effect makes a difference for Dominic Solanke. He started with some injuries, and Heung-min Son being out. It's hard to get rid of him. But my point is, you've got to look forward, and there's some always going to be potential with Tottenham with how good they are and how on the front foot they are. So again, another one to keep an eye on. That's Man U, Tottenham. Let's look at Arsenal, of course. The pressure's on ever so slightly for Arsenal. It's not too bad. It's only 9 games in the season. Wait till after Christmas to see where they are, where they're not. Even in January, if they're 4 or 5 points off the top, that's not too bad. Like, they still have City at home to play and Liverpool away. So, but of course, this run up until Christmas, we're fully in this little run. This is on the paper, it's difficult games, but I don't think it will be that difficult for Arsenal to get results. Whether they're going to win both games this, in my opinion, is difficult. However, in terms of FPL, I firmly believe that with Saka back, with Havertz back, with Martinelli playing okay, actually, I do think he's playing okay. He ghosted a bit against Liverpool, but he is playing actually not too bad. I don't think so, anyway. But he's not. His output's horrendous. But there is a lot on Trossard and Martinelli to deliver the numbers of Saka. They are very, very reliant on Bukayo Saka, Kai Havertz. Odegaard, let's have a look at his injury. I've heard he could be back soon. All right, so after the international break, we will see. So it's United, Tottenham, Arsenal. Let's look more, Obviously, Liverpool, we've touched on them. Salah pretty much fixture-proof the whole season, but you got to know when to captain Salah. For example, the Palace away, sometimes one must think, okay, is that really strong? He didn't have many chances, and it was a 12:30 kickoff. Never back the early kickoff. So there are some games for Liverpool which are a bit dodgy, and even still, we're not scoring that many goals. We haven't scored all too many, but we're just, we're doing our business. We're actually converting our chances pretty well. And Salah is delivering on, he's probably overperforming in terms of fantasy football. I do believe his overall performance in the games can be obviously a lot better, but he is very, very good for fantasy and very, very good in the big games, because in the big games, people go for easy fixtures. But Salah, again, I should have captained him. Maybe I really should have. So you always have to look at lots of things. It's like a poker game. Where can I find the weakness in my opponent's teams? And it is obviously with the bias for captaining Haaland and gaining ground and gaining points on those who do captain Haaland. And as you can see in my previous weeks, I don't always captain him. The Southampton at home, pretty much the whole world captained him. I'm not going to be one of those, well, it was obvious City were going to win 1-0. They really should have scored more, let's be honest. I'm not going to be one of those guys. But I might be. This was a fucking blunder. Fuck that. Didn't mean to do that. But yeah, even still, I captained Foden ahead of Haaland. Then he actually even outscored him. So that was all right. Game week 7, it was for me, it was the Haaland captain because of Fulham at home. But again, there was potential to go elsewhere, but maybe not so much that week. Fulham at home could have been strong. I don't think people did that great. Obviously, the average points being 46. But other weeks where I didn't captain Haaland, it was game week 6, which gave me some ground on the Haaland captainers. And obviously, I don't know why you would captain him Newcastle away. 12:30 when notoriously in the last couple of years, Newcastle have actually, given it to City. And here Salah was shit in this game, but he scored a penalty. So that's fine. So there we have it. Let's just continue this little talk on some other teams. We've spoken about the Chelsea potential from game week 12 onwards. We've spoken how, and now also the kind of low-priced strikers, they go through stages and phases of delivering. Wood obviously being the most consistent. And if you can see, I did have Wood at the start of the season. I took him out on a wild card, which was very silly. I was very confident in Wood because all last season he was still scoring and banging goals in. How many goals I think he got 17 last season. No, 14. Never mind. He probably should get more this season. Forest are a force to be reckoned with. Yeah, and I still think this is a good opportunity for Chris Wood. I think West Ham and Newcastle are slightly more solid than the likes of Leicester, weak defence, than the likes of Palace, prone to errors. West Ham are prone to errors, but they were stronger under Moyes. I don't think they're very good defensively under Lopetegui. I don't know his philosophy. Is it defend? Is it attack? Is it... I don't know what it is, to be honest. Is they more attacking? I don't know. They're an uncertain team right now. They didn't get battered that many times under David Moyes. They've been battered a lot this season. Away to Tottenham, home to Chelsea, home to City, away to Liverpool in the Cup. So disappointing for West Ham. But let's have a look at their potential. They are tipped for top 10. Forest away, Everton home, Newcastle away, Arsenal home. But this, again, is a decent enough Christmas, December run. Very much looking forward to maybe owning Jared Bowen. Do you know what we're going to do now? Let's do a complete wild card, pretending that it starts at game week 12 onwards. Let's do a wild card starting game week 12 onwards. Let's just do that for the next 5 minutes. So, given that we know who's strong and know who's not, let's just do... I don't even want to do a Man City. I don't want Man City. De Bruyne will come back. They will come back. Doku Grealish will be back very soon. So it could be naive to not have City. Salah will be a no-brainer. Mbeumo, will he stay in my team game week 12 onwards? I don't think he will, I don't think he will. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to keep him for that too. But he is on penalties. So I'm not sure I'm going to have him. Salah will be in there 100%. So let's try it. Wildcard, Game Week 12 onwards, Chelsea, Parma, of course. I want to get as many penalty takers as possible. I might go expensive with Bruno. I'm going to keep Dallo in. Bruno, I'm going to go with Saka. I'm going to go with all right. All these penalty takers for this is really has got a lot of potential on it. Brighton as well. There's some potential. I am interested in Estepinian once again. So I'm going to get him in. I don't know if he's going to play, if he's going to start. Let's just get him in. Estepinian for Game Week 12. Ignore these. We're starting the third one. Estepinian, Dallo. I'm not too bothered about keepers. Let's just keep Robert Sanchez. And let's keep Fabianski as well. Not bothered about them. As we saw, Spurs on and off. I like to avoid them for now. Although I have got Pedro Porro. I would actually take him out, to be honest. I've not really been too happy with him. Brighton with potential, but I'm just going to, in this wildcard draft, I'm just going to hold back. Welbeck is an amazing player, but he's someone that I own with a bit of trepidation. Even though these fixtures are insane, he's someone that always can pull up with an injury. Minutes risk ever so slightly, although these are really strong minutes, I'll be honest. But with Gerard Pedro back and Ferguson pushing, I think it's clear that Hurtler prefers Danny Welbeck. And there's a lot of creativity in the Brighton team. But then, who is the penalty taker for Brighton? It is Pedro, but I actually don't know who's the penalty taker when Pedro's injured. We don't know. So Bournemouth, let's have a look at them from Game Week 12 onwards after the international break. And it's not too bad, actually. It's not too bad. Right? I like to stay clear of Bournemouth. I don't think I've ever had a Bournemouth asset. Who else did we say? We looked at Tottenham United, Chelsea, obviously. Arsenal, we looked at them. City. We're just going to, for the fun of it, just not have a City. Okay, so Newcastle as well from Game Week 12 onwards. There's potential for Anthony Gordon to strike gold. I do believe there is potential for Anthony Gordon to strike gold. I prefer Isak. Yes, of course. Isak and Matheus Cunha. I'm a bit annoyed I didn't bring Matheus Cunha in last week. It would have been Smith Rowe and Havertz for Mbeumo and Cunha. Sorry, yeah, but instead I did Havertz and Carvalho for Mbeumo and Calvert-Lewin. I think it was strong, a decision to take Havertz out. But yeah, Game Week 12 onwards, maybe even Game Week 11, Matheus Cunha will have to be in there. Lots of chances. Aït-Nouri, of course, I'm going to get him in. Let's see what this gives me. So yeah, then we could go cheap with some defenders. Maybe Estepinian, I don't necessarily need him. We're going to go a really cheap defender, of course. We'll just see what the team selected by is showing. Any potential for the 4 millions to get clean sheets. I even like Anderson at 4.3. I'm not going to lie. I kind of do. I don't expect any clean sheets for Fulham ever. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know about this for Fulham. It will get bad soon. So I will take Smith Rowe out if obviously I'm not on a wild card. Palace as well. We haven't spoken about Crystal Palace. I'm just going to avoid them for now. I'm going to avoid them for now. Taylor's 3.9. Wow. Yeah, I might just bring him in. I'm not going to play him, but I still like to ensure every player plays. We'll do Vandenberg, sorry, ex-Liverpool, should be known better. There's really no potential in this area for much, and it's not like I'm going to do it here. So it's a bit of a tricky one, but it frees up some funds. And what else would I want to do? What else would I want to do? Would I want to keep Morgan Rogers? Yes, I would, to be honest. Yes, I would. There is potential to take him out. I obviously prefer Ollie Watkins, but Morgan Rogers is there. He's puts in a graft every single game, creates a lot, and I've got some value on him. So I would keep him for 12 onwards. Apologies with that. What am I doing? And if we see from Villa's run into Christmas, it's very, very, very appealing, in my opinion. Up until game week 19, Villa have some potential. They're also very strong at home, and even away from home, they're very creative against the medium to mid-table sides. So then we have 10.6 million. It's not too bad. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 penalty takers in the team. There's a potential to even get more in this next. So who should we pick? We're looking at the cheaper forwards, the likes of Vissa, Jimenez, obviously Strand Larson, Vardy, Calvert-Lewin, X, Y, and Z. Let's show Welbeck, Brighton. I think it would have to be Danny Welbeck. But Joao Pedro, if he's back, is incredible. Should we have a look at Ipswich? I'm not too keen. But to be fair, this is not a bad run. Game week 12 onwards, it's not a bad run for Ipswich. So we could go with Delap. 5 goals so far. Potential for Ipswich. They're going to have games where they just score a few and get involved. Do you know what I mean? He will get involved. Right, I got to end the video soon. I got to end the video soon. I'm getting very distracted right now. So let's auto pick it. It says Welbeck and Keane. Am I keen for that? No, I'm not keen for Michael Keane. I still want to get, yeah, fuck it. Rico Lewis, welcome back, my driller. Rico Lewis there for this weird as fuck Man City. But Rico Lewis, lucky, it's all right. City, it doesn't really matter. They can easily get clean sheets or whatever. They can surprise the whole world. But they don't have a strong Christopher run, but I just think for City is City. So I didn't want to get City at it, but Rico Lewis can be an exception. And there we go. So that is, look at this team. It's really, really strong. If we had the wildcard for game week 12, look how strong this is. Even still, Fernandes and Welbeck, there's room to wiggle. There's room to maybe get a Garnacho. There's room to see what Marcus Rashford is saying. Because United, I think a few managers are going to keep their eye on this new manager bounce. And they're hungry. United are hungry. They were always hungry to get rid of Ten Hag. But it's just that even still, the quality is not that strong. I wouldn't want Haaland as my main striker or Xerxes as my main striker. Fernandes takes a lot. He's not good value in my opinion. So if we were to do Garnacho instead of Fernandes, we could upgrade. But let's just accept that this could be all right. We could go with Garnacho. If we could go with Jackson, actually. That is a very interesting one. Nicholas Jackson. That is a very interesting one. Does Garnacho fit there? Oh, I don't know if he does. Is he 6.2 or 6.3? Oh, hello, ladies and gents. Fernandes, Welbeck versus Jackson. Garnacho, it's a tough one. You know, Fernandes on pens, Brighton with their fixtures. versus Jackson, Palmer Jackson. Look at this run for Chelsea, game week 12 onwards. Leicester, Villa home, Southampton away, Spurs away, Brentford home, Everton away. Minutes-wise, Jackson could be suspect. So it's up to you. Whatever you think could be stronger, Garnacho and Jackson with Palmer behind him, or Fernandes and Brighton striker Welbeck. Is where we're going to continue this heavy scoring one. I don't know, but I just think this is supremely strong as a wild card. The defense is slightly weak, but there's a lot. Estepinian is a very good differential. Brighton, these fixtures. So again, the good teams for this kind of next half of the league, I think, are Brighton. I think are Arsenal. I think are Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, United could be in there as well. Villa, decent run. There's one we didn't do, which is Jared Bowen. Again, my thinking, West Ham haven't got many clean sheets this season. I don't even think they have one clean sheet this season. No, they do not. So, actually, Palace away, there was one. So, we will think, are West Ham going to get some clean sheets? Maybe they will. Maybe they will. Maybe. Mohamed Kudus, incredible player, suspended. Jared Bowen, 7.4, quite a lot. But there's a lot of potential. If you don't have Haaland in your team, which is not necessary, then there's so much potential to do so well in this game. And it is starting to show right now that if you didn't have Haaland, quarter of the way in the season, you could be doing a better. You have to get your captain picks correct. But it looks like Haaland is such a headache. It's such a headache. It is a big headache. So you could have him and still do very well. It's just you got to know who to captain, when Haaland might blank. But even still, if he delivers in your team when you don't captain him, it's not great. So I think the best strategy in the middle is to be like, okay, I have him, but I'm not going to captain him every week. And I gain points on captain owners, Haaland captain owners, when he doesn't deliver. So ideally, you don't really want him to ever deliver, to be honest. Unless there's a somehow week where Haaland has like Arsenal away and Salah and Palmer have Ipswich and Leicester at home, and somehow Haaland gets a hat-trick and those other guys blank, which is very unlikely. You're not going to do that. So that would be a Haaland-less draft. I think it's really strong. Cunha on pens, Isaac on pens, Palmer pens, Saka pens, Salah pens. That's 5 penalty takers. Ainouri and Estepinian, extremely attacking left backs. Lewis, extremely attacking player. Dalot, extremely attacking. Is very strong. Rodgers, the most underrated player in the entire game, the best for value. He got subbed from an injury here. It's a very, very strong team. It's a very strong team. And even Fernandes and I'd argue Welbeck actually look stronger than Garnacho and Jackson. But even still, Garnacho is a very strong, underrated player. He's had a lot of chances this season, could deliver. And Jackson is really improving. I had him at the start of last season, but he wasn't too strong. But he is very much becoming fundamental for Chelsea's system. And with Palmer, Madueke, and this Neto versus Sancho, maybe even Mudryk on the left. And Kunku could actually start on the left as well. We'll see. So that's that. The video is finished. This is my team for game week 10 onwards. It looks like I'm going to roll. I will roll. Heading into game week 11, I'm not that strong. But ideally, I just want to roll for the next 2. Stay in touch. Hopefully improve my rank slightly. It's not bad, but it's not that good. And then we'll see what I can do after international break. So thanks for watching the video. Fascinating fantasy football video. All the best. Good luck for your own teams. Finito.